Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I thought we should take it easy because I kind of need to take it easy as well. I have a very incredibly busy day. I need to do a million things. So what would feel nice right now is just to chill a little bit while I show you a few things that are happening with my orchids. So we'll take a little bit of a look-see, a little bit of a tour of the orchids. I didn't shut off the Barinas because the sun is not very bright. It's early morning still. So I fussed around with the settings of the camera. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but I still feel like the pinks are a little neon-y. You know, we're gonna have to deal with it for today. I swear, I love the Barinas. They grow my orchids so well. You'll see. But on camera, man, they just look horrifying, don't they? And I cannot find the correct setting. No matter what I do, I cannot find the correct setting to make this look like decent. I don't know. That pink is the issue. I can correct the yellow. I cannot correct that pink no matter what. I even tried it in my editing software. It just does not look right. So yeah, not to mention they flicker. I have to set my camera on a certain frame rate. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm complaining about nothing. We're just gonna have to do with the Barinas. But on my viewfinder, it looks decent. It looks okay. Right, so let's just start this tour, shall we, with, I'm pronouncing it, I'm declaring it actually. Yeah, my favorite Brassavola hybrid. It has to be this one. This is the lovely BC Maikai. Not sure if it's reclassified. It might still be a Brassanthe. I'll put the correct classification on a tag somewhere here. Yeah. You guys, can we tell why I love this one so much? I might take her out to do some b-roll if I see the footage is absolutely whack. But on my viewfinder, it does look absolutely wonderful. It does look very pink and very spotty, which is actual reality. This orchid looks very vibrant. It has beautiful colors, and that spottiness, oh my goodness. Would you mind? Thank you. Right, look at her. Oh my goodness. Now, this is not the first time I have the BC Maikai. This I purchased last year in 2023. It's gonna be 2025 soon. Oh my gosh, time flies. It's not the first time I have this orchid. It is the second BC Maikai that I have. The first one, I honestly don't remember why I lost it. Two causes, or probable causes. Fusarium, because I brought it from Romania when I moved here many years ago. 8 years ago, oh my gosh. And I managed to infect and lose about half of my collection, or most. In time, it was most of my collection. And I do believe the BC Maikai was amongst them because it was a very old orchid in my collection. If not, then I lost it to thrips. So one of the two causes, these are the two major causes, I guess, that made me lose some of the orchids. But I loved my first Maikai so much that I knew I had to buy another one. And she did not bloom last year. I think she was a little bit set back, but this is the type of orchid which is very vigorous. I think you can tell by the amount of growth that I have there. I will have to look through the footage and see how big it was when I purchased it, if I have the footage, the unboxing. But I do remember it was about half the size, at least. It was not like this. It was a decent chunk, but it was not like this. So it has a very vigorous growth, but I do find that out of all of the Brassavola hybrids, which I absolutely adore, all of them, this one I kind of adore the most. Because it's just, I mean, you know, I don't have to tell you. Look at it. It's beautiful. And yes, it is fragrant in the nighttime. Smells like a Brassavola. And you know what's funny? It is actually a Brassavola nodosa hybrid. I don't remember with what, but I think all of the spotting comes from the Brassavola. If not, you know, I'll correct myself. I'll type something on the screen. But right now, I think all of the spotting comes from the Brassavola nodosa, which is absolutely fantastic considering that one is just the plain white orchid. But it is such a beautiful species to hybridize with because it has this absolutely wonderful trait of transmitting these spots. So yeah, there we go. I have 3 leads that have bloomed. I think I have a 4th one. I don't know if it will bloom. You can see it there. She's a little tiny, that lead there. But as this orchid ages, it will become better and better. And you know what? I think I'm gonna keep it as a specimen. I'm gonna have to find a place for it somewhere. It is not a big hybrid. Can we see? It fits in this Vittsjo, Ikea Vittsjo shelf. It's 40 centimeters from bottom to top. And this orchid fits perfectly. She's about 30 centimeters. And then, you know, we have the pot and we have a little bit space up. So she's not a very big orchid. She can bushen up for sure, but that's kind of what I enjoy most. I don't like very tall, lanky orchids, to be honest. I like the compact and bushy ones. So this one, I mean, it would be a pity to start dividing it and chopping it. I'm gonna let it grow to its heart's desire. And yeah, I just wanted to show it to you more than in the, you know, Orchids in Bloom tour, because it has a bit of a history. And yeah, I'm just so happy to see it in bloom. It's such a beautiful, beautiful hybrid. I got it from Schroeder, I think. Or, you know what, maybe I got it 2 years ago. Where's the tag? Oh no, I did not get it from Schroeder. Okay, no, the tag is actually stuck. The roots have grown over it. It's BC Maikai Louise, and I got it from Look. Yeah, it's Look Orchidine. The year is 2023. So yeah, I got it last year. And just take a look at it. Beautiful, beautiful orchid. I need to move it more towards the front, right, to enjoy it more. Anyway, for now, she's staying there. Oh, P.S. absolutely grown under Barina lights. Not so much natural light, but it worked out beautifully. Alrighty, next up we have an orchid that we've never actually talked about quite at all. Maybe I should put it on the table so we better see her, because now we're kind of against the light. All right, there we are. So this is the Rhyncholaelia digbyana. It is not a hybrid, it's a species. I know it might sound like a hybrid between a Rhyncho stylus or something and a Laelia, but no, that's the actual name of the species. And to my, I mean, I should have cleaned the table, but it's okay. To my understanding, there are only 2 species in this genus, the Rhyncholaelia digbyana and the Rhyncholaelia glauca. Now, the glauca we've seen on my channel quite a bit. I lost it recently because, I don't know, I really don't know. Very, very recently I lost it, maybe in the move. It got a little sunburned, then it got a little bit of rot in the new growth, and I decided, well, it's time. It was set back for a lot of time. I had it for a long time. Maybe it had fusarium, I don't know. It wasn't performing, so I decided to just give up on it because it was just not doing well. And I also had this one, which is excelling. Like, look at it. Wow. So this one I have, I don't know exactly since when. The tag says 2021, but that's when I started to put the year on my tags. And I'm pretty sure I have this one for more than 3 to 4 years at this point. And we've never talked about it because, well, it didn't do anything. This is one of those orchids which is not so easy to bloom. I would not say it's finicky or anything. Look at it. It's just like any other Cattleya. It grows very slow, just 1 growth per year per direction of growth. But it should have bloomed by now because I got it as a young orchid, you can see there, but it wasn't a seedling. So it took all of this time to mature. You can see pseudobulb after pseudobulb without a sheath, but each one bigger and bigger until this year, ta-da, that is a sheath. Now, will it bloom? I don't know. A sheath is not guaranteed, or it does not guarantee a bloom, but at least it's a sheath. It's something new. Let me try to focus a little more. Look at that. I'm so excited beyond, besides myself. That's the expression. It's so funny, isn't it? Yeah, so where did I grow this orchid? Or did I do anything different? Honestly, no. I've grown it in the Barinas, or under the Barinas, in the shelves. I grew it there, and at some point it got pretty tall and it didn't fit so well anymore, so I moved it there next to the southern window. But I did that about a month ago, so it didn't really get too much natural light. Most of the times it was grown under the Barinas, and there she is, finally a sheath. So I think it's just maturity. At this point, I don't know if the temperatures had something to say, or the light, or anything of the sorts. It's too little. This girl takes 9 months to mature a pseudobulb. It grows slow, painfully slow, this orchid. So most of the growing was done in the old place under the Barinas. Here, you know, it just got the past 3 months or so of these conditions, which did not differ all that much from the previous conditions. So I don't know how or why it produced a sheath now, but I would say it's just age. So in case you didn't know, I had this orchid, I do, and if you don't know why I'm making such a big fuss out of it, well, you should Google it, because I believe it's one of the most spectacular species you've ever seen. It used to be a Brassavola, which means it's similar to a Brassavola. It smells during nighttime, and considering my Glauca, which was much easier to bloom than this one, it does smell kind of like a Brassavola as well. I think it will. It will smell during nighttime. It will have buttery white greenish colors, but it has the fringiest lip you've ever seen. It's absolutely beautiful. And considering how vigorous it is, you know, it's never crossed my mind to just give up on it or anything, because it's very vigorous, very, very vigorous. This pot is full of roots. It is incredibly vigorous, but either it matures slow, either it needs, I don't know, special treatments to bloom. I don't know. If you've ever bloomed one of these, let me know. Is it just an age thing? Was it a little too young when I purchased it and, you know, it just took its time to mature? Because other than that, I just treated it like a normal Cattleya, and this is the results. You know, I didn't read anything weird or special that you need to do with it in order to bloom, other than give it very bright light, and that's it, you know. So that's what I did. I gave it the brightest light that I could, and finally this year we have a sheath. Now, considering it's the first sheath of this orchid's life, I am not keeping my hopes high quite at all. Okay, maybe I am keeping them a little bit high, because I just want to see this orchid in bloom. But there is a very high chance that it's not going to bloom, or if it tries to put out a bud, maybe the bud will be distorted, or it will not make it to opening quite at all. There is a million things that can happen with first-time bloomers, but at least it's mature, finally. So I just had to brag about it, and I also had to ask, what is your experience with this one? Is it that finicky? Is it that slow growing? Or, you know, am I missing something? Thank you. Right, next up we have an orchid that I do have quite a lot of experience with. This is the Chantilly Twinkle, and again the tag says 2021, but it might be older than that. I feel like I have it for 4 to 5 years at this point, and this is a very reliable bloomer and an easy grower for me. Bonus, it is one of the most beautifully patterned orchids you've ever seen, and it's also one of the best smelling orchids that I have. Smells quite, almost actually identical to the Princess Jackie Cattleya, the no ID white Cattleya that, again, I really love. So why am I showing you this one? Because we've looked at it a million times. It blooms multiple times a year. It grows fast. Do we see how tall this one became? At this point, it does not fit in the shelf anymore, so I have to keep it on the open shelf in front of my window. And especially with the flower spike, yeah, it's not gonna fit. This was the last year's pseudobulb. This is this year's, or not the last time it bloomed. This is the newest pseudobulb. Look how tall this is. I don't know, iPhone for comparison? I don't know. It's tall. It's getting out of hands. How tall does this one get? I don't know. I thought it was a medium-sized Cattleya, but look at it. This year it's the tallest it has ever been, and I have it for a lot of time now, and I cannot say I set it back way too much. All the pseudobulbs are pretty much the same height, except this one. This one looks like it belongs in a different movie. So we do have buds, as we can see, so we're gonna have beautiful flowers soon. I don't think flower count or anything will change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 buds. Yeah, seems about right. It's not like I'm getting the cluster of life now, like with 20 blooms. No, it's just a pseudobulb. And also, look how like chunky it is. It's so beautiful. Yeah, she's very healthy and very happy about something. I don't know, but I just wanted to let you know, because I know many people acquired this orchid partially, I wouldn't say because of my videos, but like partially, mainly because of some of my videos, because I brag about it or I boast about it so much. It's so beautiful, and I really hope you enjoy it. And yeah, just letting you know it's getting out of control. It's getting taller and taller as each year passes. And I might have said in my spotlights and everything that it's a medium-sized orchid, you can put it on a windowsill, space saver, blah blah blah. I don't know about that. I don't know. Where is it gonna go? I don't know how tall it will continue to get, but definitely it has become taller than it used to be. So beware of that. Sorry in advance if you bought it thinking it's more of a miniature or medium. I thought so too, honest. But look at it. It's like I cannot really convey in the video how substantial this orchid became. But I love it nonetheless. And the flowers are definitely worth it. Next up, I wanted to talk a little bit about Tolumnias. They're spiking and blooming now, so definitely they appear to have a bit of a season for me. But that's not what I wanted to say about them. I recently got a comment from one of you guys saying that you've tried this, I presume it's this setup, because you said you've tried my setup and you had great success and you're so happy. I just want to let you guys know and want to let you know that I am so happy when I hear or when I read these comments. It's actually, it is my aim. I want people to find solutions. Obviously, my setups and everything will not fit everybody because we all have different environments, but at least some of you, I hope, and I'm trying to make these videos to benefit you. And whenever I read that you found success trying something that I proposed, I'm so happy. And I just wanted to mention that I am so happy and that I am so delighted to read these comments. And I do read the comments even though I don't really answer to most of them because there are just so many and my life is just so like wild right now. But I do read them. Like even like when I'm in bed and my eyes are barely open, I read the comments because I want to know what you guys are saying. Right, so the setup, for those of you who don't know, is a self-watering setup. I have bark and moss in there, mostly moss, I would say, because I needed to wake up, and a top layer of bark. And you know what? In hot environments, that is what works for me. It is what it is. I have lost Tolumnia orchids due to dehydration. They dehydrate like nothing else here. And it's a big deal if you're newer to Tolumnias because many tutorials and many sources still suggest that the best way to grow Tolumnias is mounted and in bark and in very airy media and in tiny pots because they adore air, and worse, they need to dry out before nighttime. So whatever you do, water them in the morning, they need to be dry before nighttime, which is absolute Maya poop. Let's put it like that. It really is. I'm sure this treatment works. Any orchid, if you water it properly every day and it dries by nighttime, but it gets fully hydrated within that day, any epiphytic orchid will be happy. It is a fact of life. That's what epiphytic orchids get in nature. But the thing is, it's very hard to obtain such conditions in our living room because there are many variables to think about. Humidity, wind, dew, this, the other, the type of water even that we're using. I mean, there are too many variables to play by the rules of nature. Also, where these orchids grow in nature plays an important part. They grow in high elevations, not low elevations. That changes the situation. Anyway, so many people are still going by these, let's say, tutorials. And some people will have success, yes, if they have those right conditions and the right availability to water them non-stop, pretty much. Some will not. Like, I cater to home growers. Probably that's why my channel has so many views and stuff, because I cater to home growers. I am a home grower. I do not have a greenhouse, and for the foreseeable future, I don't see me having a greenhouse no matter what I do, unless I win the lottery or something. But I will never move again. Like, I can win the lottery, but I'm not moving from here. Anyway, you give me a castle, I'm not moving. I'm not doing it again. So yeah. So being home growers is a totally different ball game. So I try to cater for these conditions. And, it's a little bit jarring to do something so against the tutorials, like self-watering. Oh my goodness. But there we go. If you feel like you're in that category that simply cannot do with the tutorials, try something else. It's fine. It's just another orchid. It's not a special entity that has nothing to do with any orchid you've ever had. It's an epiphytic orchid. It's also a hybrid. Bottom line, treat it like an epiphytic orchid and you're fine. And sometimes more moisture is what's needed because it's a tiny little thing. It's going to dehydrate so fast. But also, It's just as easy to grow these orchids in traditional setups. I don't really have more of these pots. I've consumed them all, and I don't feel like buying more at this point. I'll buy later. But I can grow them in like normal pots. They can grow in normal pots. Sure, I have to mind watering maybe a little more, but you know, I'm doing an okay job so far. When I see I don't do a good job anymore, I will invest in the self-watering system again and put it in self-watering. End of story. So it's not the setup necessarily, it's how it meshes with your life and your environment. It's just as good to grow these orchids mounted, if that works out. It's just as well, you know, in traditional pots or, you know, self-watering pots. So it has nothing to do with this special entity that you need to develop these new setups and skills that you've never had before. It's just an orchid, just another epiphytic orchid. And you know, you have to do what you have to do, no matter if it's against the grain. If it's gonna make your life easier, then you're gonna be more prone to better taking care of these guys and not put off watering or anything. So in the end, it's good for the orchid as well if you can keep up with the maintenance. Right, that's what I had to say. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that the setup works out for you. And let's move on to a different orchid. Next up, let's look a little bit at this beauty. This is the Hawaiiara Lava Burst, or Leomesezia. It has been reclassified because why wouldn't it be? So this is the initial flush of blooms. There are a few more spikes developing here and there. It's kind of close to its finish time. The flowers are getting a little bit pale, as you can see. These are newer flowers. You see the ones below here and the ones here, they're newer flowers actually. That's why they're redder than these. But wait, they're on the same flower spike. Yes, but take a closer look. If I manage not to break them, they're secondary branches. Look. This orchid is putting out a second flush of blooms on secondary branches. Well, maybe not all the... Oh yeah, look at this one. This one has buds here as well. This one, no. But I did see throughout... Oh no, this is a main spike. Again, see? Oops. Don't break. Don't break. I'm gonna break something, you guys. So just letting you know, I feel it. I feel it coming. Right. Can we focus? No. Right. So here, main flush of blooms is going away. Secondary spike after the main flush of blooms. Look at that. It's something I didn't really notice in the past. I mean, I did see the secondary branches, but I thought they kind of developed at the same time. They don't necessarily. They can develop after the first flash of blooms. So what I would say with this orchid, and you know, it can sustain all of these branches because it's a very bushy orchid. I like it. It has become such a sturdy orchid, and I almost lost it. I have it for so many years, maybe 8 years at this point. First 3 years of its life, it barely made it in video because I kept setting it back, trying all sorts of setups yet again for it. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna grow it like a typical oncidium and see how it does. And it did well. But I put it in sphagnum moss and it did well. Right, so I was having a train of thought before I deviated. What's wrong with me? So this one, I would say that if the flower spikes are not dried, let them be a little more on the orchid. And of course, if the orchid is in good condition and is healthy, that's why I deviated. If your orchid is healthy, doesn't suffer from dehydration or anything of the sorts, leave the flower spikes be because you might get some secondary blooms. Like this case, it's happening now, but maybe it can also happen after all of these blooms are done, they're all on the floor, and you're like, well, I'm gonna tidy this orchid up and I'm gonna cut everything. Maybe don't. Maybe just cut, you know, before the nodes. These guys come from the nodes. Oh, it's gonna be so hard to focus because it's a very tiny flower spike. There we go. So the flower spikes come from the nodes here. And, you know, from here on, we don't have any more nodes. If you are done with the flowers and you cannot stand that dry flower spike, cut it here. And then wait it out. Wait it out. If the entire flower spike dries out, fine, cut everything. But if it's still... I would not say green because it's not green actually. It has a yellowish color to it. If it still looks alive and not completely dry, let it be because you never know. I was not really expecting this one to branch out so much after the initial flush of blooms, but look at it. It's doing it. Very nice. I really love this orchid. And lastly, because I know somebody asked, let's look at the gigantea and the gigantea hybrid, the Gigabell. They're still here. I feel like I'm underexposed. They're still here. They're just growing very slow. They're the types of Phalaenopsis orchids that are really growing very, very slow, but they are huge orchids. Look at this one. Look at this leaf. Look at the new leaf on the Gigabell. That is enormous. I cannot really show it. It's enormous. So this one lost quite a bit of leaves. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's growing new leaves now. It has a very long stem, which I think one of these days I'm gonna go and cut if there are dried bits. The Gigabell looks a little bit more like a Bellina. I will tell you, the gigantea, she's a little weird. She's leaning like nothing else, that's for sure, but also has this, like, the leaves are pulled back a little bit, you see, and sometimes they split right here and they create some issues when they split. But it has these like pulled back type of leaves. This one less. This one looks a little bit more like the Bellina, which is not so pulled back. But yeah, they share this trait. They're a little weird. And they do seem to grow a little slower than the typical summer bloomers. But they look okay. This one has something growing here. Not sure if a cakey or a flower spike, we'll see. Also, I have some bacterial. I don't think it's fungal. I think it's a bacterial little issue here due to the sprayer. I did spray water on it and I didn't realize, and it developed a little bit of an issue here on the leaf. It's not direct sun or anything, but it seems to be okay even with that little damage there. It doesn't seem to spread or anything. Yeah, I'm not using the sprayer anymore, but yeah, I almost did a boo-boo with this one as well. But other than that, they're not really doing all that much, to be fully honest, and I don't really keep them in too much light either. I keep them at the top of my shelves, which I will put some lights on. This one is the only one that has lights for now, but I will do the same thing with the one in the back. And right now they don't have additional light other than what this room reflects. And this is a very bright room, so they do get something, but I feel like they would like some more. Other than that, they kind of need a repot. I am afraid to look at the tag. Oh no, doesn't even have a year. Might be in there since 2021. Do you have a year? No, this one too. I know they've been in here for a long time, but I don't remember exactly when I put them here. They need a repot. They're due. They're full of roots. I cannot remove it. Oh my goodness. Yes, we need a repot. But these are the gigantea and the gigantea hybrids, still here, growing slow, being, you know, species. This one being a species, meaning maybe not as vigorous and as friendly to my home conditions as I would like it to be, but it's still doing okay. And that is about it for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you had a chill time and enjoyed seeing the pretty orchids, and I hope you have a great weekend. I will have a great weekend because I set up my big aquarium. I'll start posting new videos on the second channel as well. It took a million years to set up the new aquarium because I budgeted everything, you know, little by little. I reused as much of the things that I had as possible, and it took a little bit of time, but I'm so happy to see it in the living room. And if you're curious about my aquarium altar life, you can visit my second channel. I'll put it on the screen. You can search for it. It's Danny Emoji, and you'll find their aquarium type or focused videos. And I didn't post in a while. You'll also see Yoshi, which is my crested gecko, and her terrarium. I didn't post there for a while, but I will start doing it again. So if you're into aquariums as well, why not check out my second channel? And yeah, I'm getting to play with some aquatic plants. Woohoo! I'm so happy. Didn't play with aquatic plants in a million years. So this is what I'm gonna do this weekend. But today, as I'm filming this, it's still Thursday, so I have 2 more days of lots of work. So I'm gonna go do that. I hope you'll have a great week and a great weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!